The shrill beep echoed through the sterile examination room, causing Dr. Zenith to leap backward, his iridescent blue skin paling to a sickly lavender as 3 sets of eyes widened in alarm. The alien physician's 6-fingered hands trembled as he pointed at the small device embedded in Kevin Anderson's chest, visible through the medical scanner's holographic display. "Your internal organ is malfunctioning," Dr. Zenith exclaimed, reaching for an emergency call button on the wall. "It is making distress signals. We must operate immediately." Kevin looked down at his chest and then back at the panicked alien doctor, the corners of his mouth turning up slightly. "That's normal, Doc. It's just my pacemaker." "Pacemaker, Doctor." Zenith's antennae twitched in confusion, his third eye blinking rapidly as the other 2 remained fixed on Kevin's chest. "This device is supposed to make these sounds." "Well, not sounds exactly. It's sending electrical impulses to keep my heart beating properly. The beep you're hearing is from your scanner picking up its signal." Dr. Zenith cautiously approached again, the color slowly returning to his face as he studied the readout. "Fascinating. Your species deliberately implants machinery into your bodies. When necessary, yeah. I had a heart attack 5 years ago. The pacemaker regulates my heartbeat." The alien doctor's 6 fingers danced across his holographic interface, pulling up reference materials. "Our database on human medicine is woefully incomplete. I had no idea your species was partially cybernetic." Kevin laughed, which only seemed to confuse Dr. Zenith further. "We're not cyborgs, Doc. Medical implants are common, but they're just tools to keep us healthy." Dr. Zenith adjusted his medical coat, trying to regain his professional composure. "I apologize for the alarm, Mr. Anderson. You are the first human patient I've examined with such modifications." "No problem. I should have mentioned it before the scan. May I study this device further?" the alien doctor asked, his scientific curiosity clearly overcoming his initial shock. The integration of technology with biological systems at this level is quite advanced. "Sure, though it's pretty standard tech back on Earth. Nothing special." Dr. Zenith's antennae perked up. "Nothing special, Mr. Anderson. You have a machine keeping you alive inside your body and you consider this nothing special," Kevin shrugged. "Been living with it for years now. You kind of forget it's there." "Remarkable, Doctor," Zenith whispered, all 3 eyes now focused intently on the holographic display of Kevin's chest. "Simply remarkable." Kevin had arrived at Centaurus Station 3 days earlier as part of the first human delegation to the Galactic Medical Conference. As Earth's newest addition to the Galactic Coalition, humans were still something of a novelty among the more established spacefaring species. Kevin, a pharmaceutical representative, had never expected to become a medical curiosity himself. "So, am I cleared for the conference?" Kevin asked, breaking Dr. Zenith's fascinated trance. "Oh, yes, of course," Dr. Zenith said, quickly tapping on his interface. "But I would be most grateful if you would consider allowing me to conduct a more thorough examination of your pacemaker, for medical research purposes, of course." Kevin checked his watch. "I have a presentation in an hour, but I'm free after that." "Excellent." Dr. Zenith's skin flushed a bright blue with excitement. "I shall gather my colleagues. They will be most intrigued by this discovery." Kevin couldn't help but smile at the alien's enthusiasm. "Just a warning, there are probably other humans at the conference with various medical implants. Don't freak out if you detect them." Dr. Zenith's antennae twitched in embarrassment. "I shall endeavor to maintain my professional composure, Mr. Anderson. Though I must admit, your species continues to surprise us." As Kevin left the medical bay, he couldn't help but wonder what the alien doctors would make of his colleague Janet, who had an artificial hip and a cochlear implant. Later that afternoon, after delivering his presentation on Earth's advances in antiviral medications, Kevin returned to the medical bay as promised. To his surprise, he found not just Dr. Zenith waiting for him, but a gathering of at least a dozen alien physicians from different species, all watching the door with eager anticipation. "Ah, Mr. Anderson," Dr. Zenith called out, waving him over with 2 of his 6 hands. "Thank you for returning." My colleagues were most eager to learn about human medical implant technology. Kevin looked around at the assembled aliens, some humanoid, others decidedly not, all wearing expressions he interpreted as professional curiosity. "I didn't realize this would be such a big event." "I'm not a medical expert, just a patient." "That is precisely why your perspective is valuable," said a tall, willowy alien with bark-like skin. "I am Dr. Thrill, xenobiologist from the Arbor Collective. We study the intersection of biology and technology across species." "And I am Dr. Zax," added a smaller, insectoid being with compound eyes. "Specialist in comparative medicine." Kevin nodded politely as each doctor introduced themselves, trying to remember the unfamiliar names and titles. He hadn't expected to become a centerpiece of the conference, especially not as a medical specimen. Dr. Zenith guided Kevin to an examination chair in the center of the room. "With your permission, we would like to scan your pacemaker and ask you questions about your experience living with this device." "Sure, that's fine," Kevin agreed, sitting down. "Though like I said, it's pretty routine technology on Earth." As the scan began, displaying his heart and the pacemaker in 3-dimensional detail above the examination table, the alien doctors gasped collectively. "The integration is seamless," Dr. Zax chittered, compound eyes reflecting the holographic image. "Note how the electrical pathways complement the natural conduction system," Dr. Thrill observed, reaching a branch-like finger toward the display. Dr. Zenith adjusted the display. "Mr. Anderson, our scans indicate this device has been operational for 5 Earth years." "That's right. After my heart attack, they implanted it. The battery should last another 5 years or so before they need to replace it." "Replace?" Dr. Zenith's skin shifted to a surprised yellow. "You undergo surgery every decade for maintenance, more or less." "They're working on longer-lasting batteries, but that's the current standard." The doctors exchanged glances that Kevin couldn't quite interpret. "Does it not concern you?" asked Dr. Thrill. "This dependence on technology that requires such regular invasive procedures?" Kevin considered the question. "I guess I never thought about it that way. It's either this or, well, not be alive. The pacemaker lets me live normally." "Fascinating," Dr. Zenith murmured. "Humans accept technological integration at a level many species would find disturbing, yet you speak of it so casually." "It's not like we're eager to get implants," Kevin clarified, "but when it's medically necessary, we do what we need to survive." Dr. Zax stepped closer. "And you feel no different. Your sense of self is unchanged despite this foreign object within your body. It's not really foreign anymore. It's just part of me now." The scan beeped again, highlighting the pacemaker's regular electrical discharges. Dr. Zenith no longer flinched at the sound. "Mr. Anderson," Dr. Zenith said carefully, "would you be willing to participate in a panel discussion on human medical implants? Your perspective would be invaluable to our understanding." Kevin hadn't planned on becoming a conference speaker, but the genuine interest of the alien doctors was hard to refuse. "Sure, I can do that. Though you might want to find humans with more advanced implants too. I know there's a neurologist from Boston here who has a neural implant for seizure control." This announcement caused another ripple of excitement among the gathered physicians. Neural implants. Dr. Thrill's bark-like skin rustled with excitement. Direct interface with the central nervous system. Yeah, they've been around for a while now, Kevin said, surprised by their reaction. Deep brain stimulators, cochlear implants, retinal implants. Pretty standard medical technology. Dr. Zenith quickly typed notes into his device. Mr. Anderson, I believe we must expand the scope of our panel. Would you be willing to help us identify other humans with various implants who might participate? Sure, Kevin agreed. Though maybe explain to them first that their implants aren't medical emergencies. Might avoid giving them the scare you gave me this morning. Dr. Zenith's skin flushed a deeper blue with embarrassment. Yes, a most prudent suggestion. By the next morning, word had spread throughout the conference about the human delegation and their cybernetic enhancements. Kevin found himself approached by curious alien attendees between sessions, some asking polite questions about his pacemaker, others keeping a noticeable distance as if he might somehow hack into their systems. During breakfast in the station's main dining area, Kevin sat with Dr. Rachel Kim, the neurologist from Boston he'd mentioned, and Marcus Webb, another pharmaceutical representative from Kevin's company. So you're telling me, Marcus said between bites of what the station called Earth-compatible protein substitute, that Dr. Zenith thought your pacemaker was some kind of malfunction. Jumped back like he'd seen a ghost, Kevin confirmed. His skin went practically white. Rachel laughed. That's nothing. When I told Dr. Zaks about my seizure implant, he asked if I could communicate with computers telepathically. I didn't have the heart to tell him it just sends tiny electrical impulses to prevent abnormal brain activity. They've organized a whole panel about human medical implants now, Kevin said. They're calling it integration of technology and biology, the human approach. Are you going to do it? Marcus asked. I said I would. Rachel's joining too. They've found a few others, someone with an insulin pump and another person with a cochlear implant. Rachel nodded. I think it's important. If we're going to be part of this galactic coalition, understanding each other's medical practices is crucial. Speaking of which, Kevin said, checking his conference schedule, I've got a meeting with some Arcturian pharmaceutical reps in 15 minutes. Their antibacterial compounds sound promising for resistant strains back on Earth. As Kevin stood to leave, a small, gelatinous alien approached their table, its translucent body pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. Pardon the intrusion, it said in a melodious voice. I am Dr. Glow from the Luminary Collective. Is one of you the human with the heart machine? Kevin raised his hand slightly. That would be me. Dr. Glow's body flashed with patterns of blue and green. Most fascinating. In my species, we regenerate damaged organs. The concept of permanent mechanical assistance is quite novel. Well, humans are working on regenerative medicine too, Rachel interjected, but we're not quite there yet for complex organs. I would be most interested in discussing this further, Dr. Glow said. Perhaps at the panel I understand is being organized. I'll be there, Kevin confirmed. This afternoon in Conference Room C. As Dr. Glow pulsed a farewell and glided away, Marcus shook his head in amusement. You're becoming a celebrity, Kevin. Not exactly what I expected when I came to present on antivirals, Kevin sighed. The meeting with the Arcturian representatives went smoothly, though Kevin noticed they kept glancing at his chest, as if they might be able to see the pacemaker through his shirt. By the time he made his way to Conference Room C for the panel, the space was already filled beyond capacity, with attendees spilling into the hallway. Dr. Zenith hurried over when he spotted Kevin. Mr. Anderson, we have had to request a larger venue. The interest in human medical implant technology has exceeded all expectations. This is unexpected, Kevin said, surveying the crowd. The panel has been moved to the main auditorium, Dr. Zenith explained, guiding Kevin through the crowd. We have arranged for visual demonstrations and translators for all coalition languages. The main auditorium could seat nearly 1,000 beings, and as Kevin was led to the stage, he saw it was nearly full. Rachel was already seated at the panel table, along with 3 other humans Kevin didn't recognize. Various medical scanning devices had been set up to project real-time images of their implants. Dr. Zenith took the central podium, his blue skin now a confident, vibrant shade as he addressed the audience. Distinguished colleagues, we have a unique opportunity today to learn about a medical approach that many of us find both fascinating and perhaps a bit alarming. Human integration of technology into biological systems represents a philosophy of medicine quite different from many of our own traditions. Kevin listened as Dr. Zenith gave a surprisingly accurate overview of human medical implant technology, clearly having done extensive research overnight. Then, one by one, the human panelists were introduced. Dr. Rachel Kim, neurologist with a deep brain stimulator to control seizure activity. Miss Laura Chen, translator with a cochlear implant that allows her to hear despite being born without that ability. Mr. James Rodriguez, diplomat with an insulin pump that regulates his blood sugar levels. Commander Sophia Patel, security officer with a prosthetic leg containing neural interfaces and synthetic muscles. And Mr. Kevin Anderson, pharmaceutical representative with a cardiac pacemaker. When it was Kevin's turn to speak, he found himself unexpectedly nervous facing the diverse alien audience. He explained his heart condition in simple terms, described the pacemaker's function, and his experience living with it. So it's not something I think about daily, he concluded. It's just part of me now, helping my heart keep a steady rhythm. The questions came rapidly after that. You consider yourself partially synthetic? Asked a reptilian being near the front. Kevin shook his head. No, I'm still fully human. The pacemaker is just a tool, like glasses or a hearing aid, just internal. Would your species accept non-medical enhancements? Inquired a hovering entity composed primarily of gas contained within a specialized suit. Rachel fielded that one. That's actually a major ethical debate on Earth. Medical necessity is generally accepted, but enhancement beyond natural human capabilities remains controversial. What happens if your device fails? Asked a concerned-looking amphibious alien. Kevin answered honestly. That's always a risk. Mine has backup systems and fail-safes, but ultimately, if it completely failed and wasn't replaced quickly, my heart might not function properly. And this does not cause you constant anxiety, the same alien pressed. Sometimes I think about it, Kevin admitted, but I can't live in fear. The technology is reliable, and the alternative, not having the pacemaker, would be worse. As the panel continued, Kevin noticed the audience's reactions evolving from shock and sometimes revulsion to genuine curiosity and respect. The questions became less about the strangeness of implants and more about practical considerations, compatibility issues, and the future of the technology. After 2 hours, Dr. Zenith finally brought the session to a close, though the audience seemed reluctant to leave. I believe I speak for all when I say our understanding of human medicine has been greatly expanded today, Dr. Zenith said. We thank our human colleagues for their openness in sharing these personal aspects of their physiology. As the auditorium slowly emptied, several alien physicians approached the panel for more detailed discussions. Kevin found himself speaking with Dr. Glow again, the luminescent being pulsing with patterns that somehow conveyed intense curiosity. "Your acceptance of this technology is remarkable," Dr. Glow said. "Among my people, we believe the body must remain pure, unaltered by external technology." "Different approaches for different biologies," Kevin suggested. "Humans have always used tools to overcome our limitations." "Indeed. Perhaps there is wisdom in this approach," Dr. Glow pulsed thoughtfully. "May I ask, would you be willing to visit our medical facility tomorrow? Several of our physicians would like to observe your pacemaker in action during various activities." Kevin was about to agree when Dr. Zenith intervened. "I believe Mr. Anderson has already contributed significantly to our understanding," he said firmly. "We must remember he is a conference attendee, not a research subject." Dr. Glow's pulses dimmed slightly. "Of course, my apologies for the imposition." As the alien glided away, Kevin gave Dr. Zenith an appreciative nod. "Thanks for that. It was starting to feel a bit like being in a zoo." "I fear my initial reaction to your pacemaker may have contributed to this situation," Dr. Zenith said, his skin flushing with embarrassment again. "For that, I apologize." "No harm done," Kevin assured him. "Actually, this has been educational for me too. I never realized how much we take our medical technology for granted." They were interrupted by an urgent beeping not from Kevin's pacemaker this time, but from Dr. Zenith's communication device. "I must attend to this," the alien doctor said after checking the message. "Would you be available to continue our discussion over dinner? I have many more questions about human medical philosophy." "Sure," Kevin agreed, "though I should warn you I'm no expert." "Your perspective as a patient is precisely what interests me," Dr. Zenith assured him before hurrying away. Kevin made his way back to his assigned quarters, surprised by how exhausted he felt after the panel. He had just sat down when his own communication device chimed with a message from Dr. Rachel Kim. "Emergency in Medical Bay 3. Your expertise needed." Confused about what expertise he could possibly offer, Kevin nonetheless headed to Medical Bay 3. When he arrived, he found a chaotic scene. Dr. Zenith and several other alien physicians clustered around an examination table where a human man lay unconscious. Rachel spotted Kevin and rushed over. "Thank goodness you're here. This is Thomas Wright, one of the engineering consultants. He collapsed during a demonstration." "What does this have to do with me?" Kevin asked, bewildered. "He has a pacemaker same model as yours, but something's interfering with it and we can't stabilize him. The alien doctors are struggling to understand the technology." Kevin felt a chill. "I'm not a doctor, Rachel." "No, but you understand your device better than anyone here. The medical team from Earth is on another level of the station handling a different emergency. We need any insight you can offer." Reluctantly, Kevin approached the examination table. Thomas was pale, his breathing shallow. The medical scanners showed his heart beating irregularly. "What happened exactly?" Kevin asked Dr. Zenith, who looked more distressed than Kevin had seen him yet, his skin a sickly gray-blue. Mr. Wright was demonstrating a new scanner technology when he suddenly clutched his chest and collapsed. Dr. Zenith explained. "Our diagnostics indicate his heart device is malfunctioning, but we are unfamiliar with the proper protocols for intervention." Kevin thought quickly. The scanner could it have electromagnetic interference? Pacemakers can be sensitive to that. Dr. Zenith's antennae perked up. The quasar scanner does emit a focused electromagnetic field. We didn't consider this might affect internal devices. Turn it off. Anything with a strong electromagnetic field in this room needs to be disabled immediately, Kevin urged. The alien doctors quickly complied, shutting down several pieces of equipment. Kevin watched the medical display anxiously, remembering his own doctor's warnings about electromagnetic interference. His heartbeat is still irregular, Dr. Zaks reported, compound eyes fixed on the monitor. He needs a temporary external pacemaker until his implanted one can be checked, Rachel said. Do you have anything that can deliver regular electrical impulses to the heart? The alien doctors looked at each other in confusion. We have stimulation devices, Doctor. Zenith said hesitantly, but nothing calibrated for human physiology. Kevin remembered something from his own pre-pacemaker briefing. My cardiologist said in an emergency they can sometimes use a TENS unit recalibrated to the right frequency. Do you have anything like that, Doctor? Thrill stepped forward. Our neural stimulator for Raxian physiology might be adaptable. The basic principle is similar. It's worth trying, Rachel said grimly. He's deteriorating. While Dr. Thrill and Dr. Zaks modified the device, Kevin felt helpless watching Thomas's condition worsen. The man's skin had taken on a bluish tinge, and the cardiac monitor showed increasingly erratic patterns. Ready, Dr. Thrill announced, holding up a small device with attached pads. Rachel took it, examining the settings. This might work, but we'll need to be careful with the placement and intensity. With Dr. Zenith's assistance, Rachel placed the modified stimulator pads on Thomas's chest, positioning them according to human cardiac anatomy. Starting at minimum intensity, she warned. Everyone stand clear. The device hummed softly as it activated. For several tense seconds, nothing changed on the monitor. Then, gradually, Thomas's heartbeat began to stabilize, finding a more regular rhythm. It's working, Dr. Zenith said, his color improving along with his patient's. Truly remarkable. This is just a temporary measure, Rachel cautioned. He needs proper medical attention from a human cardiologist. The Earth medical team has been notified and is en route, Dr. Zaks confirmed. Estimated arrival in 12 minutes. As Thomas's condition stabilized, Kevin felt a profound sense of relief mixed with a new awareness of his own vulnerability. The pacemaker he normally took for granted suddenly seemed both miraculous and precarious. You provided crucial insight, Mr. Anderson, Doctor. Zenith said, placing a six-fingered hand gently on Kevin's shoulder. Without your understanding of your own device, we might have lost him. I just remembered what my doctors told me, Kevin said modestly. Anyone with a pacemaker knows the basics. Nevertheless, your presence proved invaluable, Dr. Zenith insisted. Perhaps there is much our medical traditions can learn from each other. The human medical team arrived shortly after, quickly taking over Thomas's care with the practiced efficiency of specialists. As they prepared to transport him to the station's human medical wing, the lead cardiologist confirmed Kevin's suspicion. Electromagnetic interference disrupted his pacemaker function, she explained to the assembled alien doctors. Once we get him to our facility, we can reset the device and he should recover fully. Will this affect all humans with such devices? Dr. Zenith asked, concern evident in his voice and the muted colors of his skin. Different models have different sensitivities, the cardiologist explained. But generally, strong electromagnetic fields can potentially interfere with any electronic implant. We should establish protocols for scanning human visitors. As Thomas was wheeled away, Kevin felt suddenly exhausted, the adrenaline of the emergency fading. Dr. Zenith noticed immediately. You should rest, Mr. Anderson. This has been a stressful experience. Kevin nodded, surprised by how drained he felt. I think I will. Rain check on that dinner, of course. Though I insist on escorting you to your quarters first. As they walked through the station's corridors, Dr. Zenith was uncharacteristically quiet, his antennae drooping slightly in what Kevin had come to recognize as a sign of deep thought. "Credit for your thoughts?" Kevin asked, breaking the silence. Dr. Zenith's middle eye blinked rapidly. "I am considering how differently our species approach medicine. My people believe in biological purity, healing through enhancement of natural processes. Yet humans embrace technological integration in ways we would consider radical. Neither approach is inherently better," Kevin suggested. "They're just different solutions to the same problem, keeping people alive and healthy." "Indeed. But today's events have shown me there are risks in your approach that I had not fully appreciated." "There are risks in every medical decision," Kevin countered. "My pacemaker might malfunction near the wrong equipment, but without it, I wouldn't be here at all." They reached Kevin's quarters, and Dr. Zenith paused at the door. "Mr. Anderson, would you permit me to scan your pacemaker once more? After today's incident, I wish to ensure your device is functioning optimally." Kevin hesitated only briefly before nodding. "Sure, go ahead." Dr. Zenith produced a small medical scanner, carefully redesigned from the one he'd used earlier. "This has been modified to emit minimal electromagnetic radiation," he explained. "A precaution we should have taken initially." The scan took only seconds, projecting a holographic image of Kevin's heart and pacemaker between them. The regular electrical pulses were clearly visible, causing the now familiar beeping sound that had so alarmed Dr. Zenith during their first meeting. "All appears normal," Dr. Zenith confirmed, his skin returning to its healthy blue hue. "The rhythm is steady and the device is responding correctly." "That's a relief," Kevin said, only then realizing he'd been concerned himself. Dr. Zenith deactivated the scanner, looking at Kevin with all three eyes focused intently. "I wish to thank you, Mr. Anderson, not only for your assistance today but for your patience with my initial reaction to your pacemaker. It has been most educational." "No problem, Doc. Cultural exchange goes both ways." "Indeed. Rest well, and I look forward to our rescheduled dinner tomorrow," after Dr. Zenith departed. Kevin sat on the edge of his bed, hand absently rubbing the small bump on his chest where the pacemaker sat beneath his skin. He rarely thought about the device. It had become as much a part of him as any organ, but today's events had brought its presence sharply into focus. His communication device chimed with a message from Rachel. "Thomas is stable. Pacemaker reset successfully. Thanks for your help today." Kevin replied with a simple acknowledgement, relieved that the crisis had been resolved so effectively. He was about to lie down when another message arrived, this one from Dr. Zenith. "After consulting with the conference organizers, we have added a new session tomorrow on electromagnetic safety protocols for mixed species gatherings. Your insight today may have prevented future incidents. Would you be willing to attend as a consultant?" Kevin smiled as he sent his agreement. What had begun as an embarrassing medical misunderstanding was evolving into something much more significant, a genuine exchange of medical knowledge that could benefit both humans and aliens alike. The next morning, Kevin woke feeling refreshed and surprisingly energized. The final day of the conference promised to be busy, with the newly added safety protocol session and his rescheduled dinner with Dr. Zenith. When he arrived at the conference center, he found Thomas Wright waiting for him, looking remarkably recovered considering his condition the previous day. "Mr. Anderson," Thomas greeted him, extending his hand. "I wanted to thank you personally. The doctors told me you were instrumental in identifying the problem with my pacemaker." Kevin shook his hand. "Just happened to be in the right place. How are you feeling?" "Good as new. They reset my pacemaker and gave it a thorough check. Apparently the quasar scanner emits a specific frequency that interfered with our model. I'm glad you're okay. It was pretty scary for a while there. Thomas nodded soberly. They tell me it was close. Makes you think, doesn't it? Something you barely remember is there until it stops working properly. Exactly what I was thinking last night, Kevin agreed. They were interrupted by Dr. Zenith's arrival, accompanied by Dr. Glow and several other alien physicians Kevin recognized from the panel. Mr. Anderson, Mr. Right, Dr. Zenith greeted them, his skin a bright, cheerful blue. It is good to see you both well. The safety protocols session will begin shortly in conference room A. Thomas checked his watch. I should prepare my statement. See you in there, Kevin. As Thomas departed, Dr. Zenith turned to Kevin. The incident yesterday has prompted much discussion among the Galactic Medical Council. While we have protocols for many species-specific medical needs, human electronic implants present unique considerations. I'm happy to help however I can, Kevin offered. Your perspective will be invaluable, Dr. Zenith assured him. But before we proceed, I have something to show you. The alien doctor led Kevin to a small laboratory adjacent to the conference rooms. Inside, several alien technicians were working with what appeared to be a miniature version of a pacemaker. What's this? Kevin asked, curious. Inspired by your human pacemaker, our engineers have been developing a modified version compatible with Zentorian physiology, Dr. Zenith explained, his antennae quivering with excitement. Our species suffers from a degenerative condition of our secondary circulatory system that currently has no effective treatment. Kevin examined the tiny device with interest. It looks similar to mine, but with some obvious differences. Indeed, our circulatory systems are quite different, requiring specialized adaptations. But the basic principle, regular electrical stimulation to maintain proper function, remains the same. That's amazing, Kevin said, genuinely impressed. From being horrified by my pacemaker to developing your own in just a few days. Dr. Zenith's skin flushed a deeper blue. When confronted with a revolutionary idea, one can either reject it out of hand or explore its possibilities. After my initial shock, I chose the latter path. Well, I'm honored that my ticker helped inspire this, Kevin said, tapping his chest lightly. Your ticker, as you call it, may help save countless Zentorian lives, Dr. Zenith said solemnly. Sometimes the most significant medical advances come from unexpected sources. The safety protocols session proceeded smoothly, with Kevin, Thomas, and the other human implant users sharing their experiences and knowledge. By the session's end, a comprehensive set of guidelines had been established for scanning and medical procedures involving humans with electronic implants. As the conference drew to a close that evening, Kevin met Dr. Zenith for their promised dinner in the station's main dining facility. The alien doctor had reserved a private table overlooking the spectacular view of the nearby nebula. I must admit, Dr. Zenith said as they settled in, when I first scanned your chest and heard that alarming beep, I never imagined it would lead to all this. Kevin laughed. I'll never forget the look on your face, or whatever the equivalent is when your skin turns white. A most embarrassing moment in my medical career, Dr. Zenith acknowledged good-naturedly, his skin rippling with patterns that Kevin had come to recognize as amusement, yet perhaps a necessary one. Sometimes the best learning comes from mistakes, Kevin suggested. Indeed. And I have learned much from you, Mr. Anderson. Their meal arrived, a carefully prepared selection of dishes compatible with both human and Zentorian biochemistry. As they ate, they discussed the differences and similarities in their medical philosophies, finding surprising common ground despite their physiological differences. You know, Kevin said thoughtfully, before this conference I never gave much thought to my pacemaker. It was just there, doing its job quietly. And now, Dr. Zenith inquired, now I see it differently. Not just as a personal medical device, but as a symbol of my species' approach to health and survival. We adapt, we innovate, we integrate technology when necessary. A most enlightening perspective, Dr. Zenith agreed. My people could learn much from this philosophy, just as perhaps humans could benefit from our emphasis on biological harmony. That's what these conferences should be about, sharing knowledge, not just technology but perspectives. Dr. Zenith raised his glass in a gesture he had clearly learned from observing humans. To unexpected alarms and the knowledge they bring. Kevin smiled, raising his own glass. And to doctors who can admit when they're surprised. As they continued their meal, Kevin felt a small, familiar flutter in his chest, just his pacemaker doing its job, keeping his heart beating in its proper rhythm. Once a reminder of illness, now it felt like something more, a connection to a larger universe of medical possibility. The beep that had once caused an alien doctor to pale in alarm had become a symbol of cross-species understanding. And as Kevin looked out at the stars beyond the station's viewport, he couldn't help but wonder what other surprising connections awaited as humans continued their journey into the galactic community. By the time Kevin prepared to depart Centaurus Station 2 days later, news of the human integration philosophy had spread throughout the medical conference. Several alien species had expressed interest in adapting similar technologies for their own medical challenges, while human physicians were eagerly studying alien approaches to regenerative medicine and biological harmony. As Kevin stood in the departure lounge waiting for his transport back to Earth, Dr. Zenith approached, accompanied by the station's chief medical officer, a dignified Arcturian with silvery skin. "Mr. Anderson, Doctor." Zenith greeted him. "I wish to see you off personally and to present you with this." The alien doctor handed Kevin a small crystal cube. When Kevin held it up, it projected a holographic image of a human heart with a pacemaker, alongside a Zentorian circulatory system with the newly developed stimulator. "A token of appreciation from the Galactic Medical Council," the Arcturian chief explained. "Your willingness to share your experience has opened new avenues of research for multiple species." "I didn't do anything special," Kevin protested modestly. "I just happen to have a pacemaker." "Sometimes, Doctor," Zenith said, his 3 eyes blinking in sequence. "The most significant contributions come not from what we do, but from what we are willing to share about ourselves." Kevin carefully pocketed the crystal cube. "Thank you. This means a lot." "We have also," the chief added, "established a new exchange program for medical professionals specializing in biotechnological integration. The first Zentorian physicians will be visiting Earth's medical facilities next month." "That's wonderful news," Kevin said sincerely. "I'm sure they'll be just as fascinated by our hospitals as I was by your medical bay." Dr. Zenith's skin rippled with what Kevin now recognized as a mix of pride and amusement. "I have advised them not to be alarmed by the various beeping devices they will encounter." Kevin laughed. "Probably good advice." A voice announced the boarding of Kevin's transport. As he picked up his bag, Dr. Zenith extended all 6 of his hands in a traditional Zentorian farewell gesture. "Safe journey, Kevin Anderson. Your heartbeat has changed more than just your own life." Kevin smiled, placing his hand over his chest where the pacemaker continued its steady work. "That's what connections are all about, aren't they? Whether they're between people or between a heart and a machine." As Kevin boarded the transport, he reflected on how a simple medical device, something he had taken for granted for years, had become a bridge between species. The steady, reliable beat that kept him alive had also opened new possibilities for beings across the galaxy. And as the transport pulled away from Centaurus Station, Kevin felt his pacemaker deliver another regular, pulse, a normal, routine function that now carried an extraordinary new meaning. What had once caused an alien doctor to pale in alarm had become a symbol of hope and innovation for countless beings throughout the stars. The beep of his pacemaker, once just a signal of his own survival, now echoed across the cosmos as a reminder that sometimes the most powerful connections are the ones we carry within us.